Hello and welcome to another episode of ScotlandShop on the Sofa and our final clan story of 2022. We can't believe it has been 12 months and 12 clan episodes since Clan Lindsay back in January. I'm Amy and I work in our marketing department, and today I'm joined by Emily.
Hello, I'm Emily and I work in our marketing department alongside Amy, and I'm very excited to delve into the exciting history of the MacGregor Clan tonight. This is actually a very special episode to us, as here at ScotlandShop, our founder and managing director Anna White is actually a member of the MacGregor Clan. Her husband even wore the MacGregor tartan on their wedding day.
Over the course of 2022, we have loved hearing all about the clan associations to which our customers belong and how you relate to your clan heritage, whether you live in Scotland or further afield. It is great seeing how heritage influences what tartans you buy or what products you love, and we really enjoy digging into the stories and the history that lie behind the clans. Clan MacGregor is no exception, and we are really looking forward to sharing some of the stories behind one of Scotland's oldest clans.
At times, the history of Scotland and its clans can read like something out of Game of Thrones, and the story of Clan MacGregor is no exception. The MacGregors have everything, from long-running family feuds and royal claims to bloody massacres and public executions.
Whoa.
I know. More recently, MacGregors have made their mark in fields from acting to music and in sports ranging from football and rugby to fly fishing and cricket. We're going to dip into this and more to explore Clan MacGregor past and present. Hopefully we have some members of Clan MacGregor watching us today, so please chip in with any questions or contributions at any point during the episode. We'd love to hear from you. You can also email us with any stories or comments relating to Clan MacGregor, and we'll include it on our roundup at the end of the month.
There are lots of different surnames which are held by members of the MacGregor clan, but more on that later. So it's possible you might actually be a MacGregor without even knowing it. You might be a MacGregor if your surname is Fisher, Barrowman, Wilcox, Peterson or Walker. You can visit the clan page on our website to search for more names associated with the clan. Today, MacGregors have made their home all over the world, including in the town of MacGregor in Idaho, which has historically been home to a large group of clan members. The Clan MacGregor Association has large branches in North America and Canada, Australia and New Zealand, as well as in Germany, so hopefully you can find one near you.
Oh, so we're heading to MacGregor, Idaho next.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Okay. So let's start at the very beginning. One first thing to point out is that the Clan MacGregor is also sometimes called Clan Gregor. This is because Mac is the Gaelic word for son. There's been much discussion over who exactly this Gregor was. One theory is that the name refers to Gregor, a son or maybe brother of Kenneth MacAlpin, the first King of Scots in the mid-9th century. This suggestion is a nice one because it also neatly ties into the clan's motto, which translates as "Royal is my race." Other sources suggest that the clan is instead descended from the ancient Celtic royal family through hereditary abbots of Glendochart. There is also the possibility that the Gregor who gives his name to the clan was Gregor, son of Dungal, a 9th century co-ruler of Alba, the kingdom north of central Scotland. What we do know is that the first clan chief was brilliantly named Gregor of the Golden Bridles, followed by his equally brilliantly named son, Ian Cam One Eye, who became chief in 1390.
Wow, what a name.
I know, there must be a story behind that.
There must be, yeah. Even in the earliest days, things were fraught for the MacGregors. By the end of the 1300s, the land that they had traditionally held surrounding Loch Awe in Argyllshire had been taken away from them and granted to the Campbells by Robert the Bruce. In hindsight, this seems unnecessarily harsh on the MacGregors, but medieval kings were free to do what they wanted and reward their friends at the expense of others. What this meant was that the MacGregors were restricted to Glenstrae at the north-east end of the loch and were forced to resort to raiding Campbell cattle. The MacGregors were therefore relegated to tenants of the Campbells and the Colquhouns, who controlled the lands on which they settled. By this point, two main branches of the clan existed, one in Glenlyon and one in Glenstrae. Ultimately, it was the latter that received the chieftainship, with the former dispossessed by the Campbells, who refused to have successive MacGregor chiefs as their tenants, and who tried to wean other MacGregors away from their allegiance to the clan.
This displacement is one of the reasons that there aren't very many castles directly associated with the MacGregors. The historic seat of the clan would likely have been on the site of the current McGerney Castle in Glenlyon, but this land was confiscated from the MacGregors by King Robert II in the late 14th century and given to his illegitimate son, Sir John Stewart. The castle that stands on the site today was largely constructed by the Campbells after the land was handed over to them in the late 1500s. That's quite a shame that they don't have many castles up there.
That is a shame. So maybe you're wondering why Anna is a member of Clan MacGregor when her surname is not MacGregor, and why I mentioned earlier that there are a lot of surnames used by members of Clan MacGregor in comparison to what we see with some other clans. Well, the answer to this can be found way back at the turn of the 17th century, and an old feud between the MacGregor and Colquhoun clans. We have to begin by casting our eyes all the way back to the year 1592, when an arrow fired by a MacGregor accidentally killed a member of Clan Colquhoun during a cattle raid. So in 1602, when two travelling MacGregors sought hospitality from members of Clan Colquhoun, they were refused. In response, the story goes that the men took shelter in a remote barn and killed a sheep to eat. When the Colquhouns found out, they were furious and executed the two MacGregors. Obviously, the clan chief was not best pleased and responded by marching out against Clan Colquhoun at the Battle of Glenfruin on the 7th of February 1603. Although they overpowered the larger force of Clan Colquhoun to win victory, the battle turned into a bloodbath which brought shame to the MacGregor name.
Oh no.
It's a lot of drama over a sheep.
Well, yeah. But I suppose they did accidentally kill someone.
That's true, yeah.
So. When King James VI found out about their actions, he responded by prescribing or banning the MacGregor name. This meant that the Laird of MacGregor and many of his followers were executed, and the name was forbidden in law. Not only this, but men were banned from travelling in large groups, weren't allowed to cut meat with a blade, and women and children could be branded, separated, or even in some cases sold into slavery. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Not going well for the MacGregors.
Mm-mm.
Members of other clans were encouraged to track down and kill MacGregors, and it was claimed that handing over a MacGregor acted as a sort of get out of jail free card that would allow you to escape being prosecuted for a crime. So you can see why the MacGregors who survived needed to change their names to avoid detection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is really extreme.
It is, isn't it?
During this period, the surviving MacGregors became known as the Children of the Mist, a name that reflected their status as the legendary outlaws at this time. As we said, all very dramatic.
Yeah, definitely. Another interesting story relates to the location where the execution of the MacGregor Laird and his men were executed. If you've visited the Royal Mile in Edinburgh, you might have noticed the heart-shaped paving stones outside St Giles Cathedral. Known as the Heart of Midlothian, this marks the spot where Edinburgh's old toll booth was located. As you might have worked out, this is where the MacGregor executions, which we previously mentioned, took place in 1604. Originally, it was a custom practiced by Highlanders to spit on the stones as they passed to show their disdain for the executions that had occurred there. Today, however, spitting is said to be good luck. So next time you visit Edinburgh and pass by the mosaic stones, you can remember to spit on them, as it'll bring you good luck.
Well, I've passed them many a time, but I can't say that I've ever spat on them.
I've never done that, no. I think it's gross.
Well, yeah, it doesn't sound very nice, but if it's going to bring us good luck, then
Yeah,
let's give it a shot.
Have to try it.
Yeah. After prescription, the clan divided into three groups. The first group, comprising the chiefly lineage of Glenstray, was largely hunted down, captured and killed. The second followed the new laws, choosing to follow another lord and take his name. The third remained in rebellion, either unable or unwilling to take the name of another.
But in the words of Sir Walter Scott, While there's leaves in the forest and foam on the river, MacGregor, despite them, shall flourish forever. Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
The restrictions placed upon the use of the name of MacGregor were finally removed in 1784, and the chiefdom was re-established. The man selected to be the proper and true chief was General John Murray of Lanrick, who was in fact a MacGregor. In the early 1800s, their feud with the Colquhouns officially came to an end when Sir John Colquhoun invited Sir John Murray MacGregor to visit the site of the Battle of Glenfruin, where their ancestors had fought over 2 centuries earlier. There, the two chiefs shook hands and Sir John even danced a Highland Reel with Lady Colquhoun. So if you're a member of the clan today, you're free to make friends with someone from Clan Colquhoun. Just maybe don't mention the 17th century.
Well, I'm glad it all came right in the end.
Yeah, that's good.
Took
It's quite
quite a
unheard
while.
of for clans, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's lovely.
In 1822, the MacGregor clan was sufficiently revitalised that it was possible for the Clan Gregor Society to be formed. The third oldest Scottish clan society, today it welcomes members from all over the world, uniting those with a connection to Clan Gregor through events and research. You can find a link to the society on our website.
The current chief of the clan is Sir Malcolm Gregor Charles MacGregor, the 7th Baronet. His full title is the very romantic 24th Chief of Clan Gregor and the Chieftain of the Children of the Mist.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? Prior to becoming clan chief in 2003, he served in the Scots Guards and more recently has worked as a landscape photographer. His wife, Lady MacGregor of MacGregor, is otherwise known as Fiona Armstrong, and as well as being His Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of Dumfries, she is an award-winning broadcaster and writer who has worked for ITN, BBC News, Sky TV and NBC. She has also made programmes about clans, cooking and angling. Wow, she's a very accomplished lady.
I was going to say, I know a Fiona Armstrong, but I would have had no idea that she was linked to the
Wow, that's so
MacGregors.
cool.
So, now that we're talking about famous MacGregors, when we think of Scotland and think about famous MacGregors, there's one name that immediately comes to mind: Rob Roy MacGregor. Rob Roy can be considered the Scottish version of Robin Hood, which of course makes him much more interesting than his counterpart from south of the border. Born at Loch Katrine in 1671, Rob Roy was the third son of chieftain Donald Gregor of Glengyle, but was forced to assume his mother's name of Campbell. Alongside his father, he took part in successive Jacobite risings, and then he tried his hand at being a respectable cattleman. However, this didn't last long, and soon he was embroiled in a blood feud with James Graham, 1st Duke of Montrose, over a defaulted loan and eviction. Ultimately forced to surrender, Rob Roy was placed in prison. However, around this time, a book was published that presented a fictionalised account of his life under the title The Highland Rogue. This made Rob Roy into something of a legend and apparently prevented him from being shipped overseas as punishment for his behaviour. So, get a book published. Maybe that's the key. Rob Roy died in 1734, but his reputation as an adventurous scoundrel lives on thanks to Sir Walter Scott's 1817 novel Rob Roy, and a series of films based on his life, including the 1995 Rob Roy, which stars Liam Neeson as the title character.
Another interesting MacGregor is Gregor MacGregor, which I think you'll agree is a great name.
It really is.
Born in 1869 in Edinburgh, but educated in England, he is notable for the fact that he played international rugby for Scotland at the same time as playing international cricket for England. He seems to have balanced his commitments pretty well, although he was unable to play for Scotland in the Rugby Home Nations Championship in 1892 as he was out in Australia playing cricket for England. I'm not sure what the crowds today would say if Stuart Hogg announced he was going to start playing cricket for England.
Yeah, I do not think fans would be that happy.
That would not go down very well.
My cousin is called Gregor, so I'm thinking he's going to have to rename his last name to MacGregor,
MacGregor, yeah.
just because that's brilliant.
That's fantastic, yeah.
In more modern times, famous MacGregors have included actor Ewan McGregor, MMA fighter Conor McGregor, and former British Museum director Neil MacGregor. And who can forget the fictional Mr. MacGregor, whose garden is the setting for Beatrix Potter's The Tale of Peter Rabbit, and whose wife is responsible for the horrible act of baking Peter's father into a pie.
Oh.
So maybe not someone that the MacGregors would like to brag about.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
We can't end this video without talking about our favourite thing here at Scotlandshop, which is of course tartan. Woo! Woo. MacGregor tartans come in a range of colours, from the red and black of the Rob Roy tartan, which is this one here,
Yeah.
to blue and even pink in the MacGregor Royal, purple and raspberry. There really is something for all tastes with the variety of colours in the MacGregor tartans. So whether you're a MacGregor yourself or simply want to honour one of Scotland's most famous clans, perhaps the most distinctive MacGregor tartan is the MacGregor Rob Roy with its red and black squares. The history of this tartan dates all the way back to the late 1600s, which is even before tartans became closely tied to clan names. There is a portrait of Bonnie Prince Charlie wearing the tartan in 1745, and this, along with the fact it was worn by Gregor Glundhu, the 7th chieftain of Glengyll, whilst commanding the MacGregor regiment during the 1745 uprising, led to it becoming closely associated with the Jacobite cause. Another notable tartan is the MacGregor Modern, which is red and green. Here, me and Emily are both wearing it today.
Yes. Proudly sporting it.
Yes, and this tartan was registered with the Highland Society of London for dress or courtwear in about 1810. It became prominent among MacGregor clans during the 1822 visit of King George IV to Edinburgh, when the clan chief, Sir Evan MacGregor, and his clansmen wore it during the festivities.
Yeah, because that visit was a real kind of turning point for tartan being reborn.
Mhm.
So everyone went all out with their outfits.
It's
And
good to know that the MacGregor tartan was front and
exactly.
centre then.
Well, red was a really expensive dye, so that kind of shows off their wealth as well. So
and there's a lot of red in this
exactly, yeah, because the king went for Stuart Royal, so yeah,
That makes
another
sense.
very bright red one. So that's all we have time for today, but it's been great to share a bit more about Clan MacGregor with you. And if you'd like to test your knowledge, look out for our Clan MacGregor quiz, which will be posted soon. Stay up to date on all of our clan content in 2023 and beyond, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, email newsletter and social media. We wish you all a very merry tartan-filled Christmas wherever in the world you might be.